Hey, my personal finance gang. Hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Can you believe it? We made it to Friday and it's spring break next week. Woohoo! So, um, Mostly the last video was discussing credit cards and what a bad idea the credit cards are. Um, So the first thing he talked about is you don't need a credit card to rent a car. Um, and he calls that a myth. Uh, but really, I got to disagree with him on that one. Uh, Renting a car seems to be the one thing that is very, very difficult to do with a debit card. Uh, there is one company that I'm aware of that will accept a debit card for your rental car, and that's Dollar, who, by the way, is a major sponsor of the Dave Ramsey Show. So there was a deal struck there. Um, but rental car companies are protected when they take a credit card because if the car gets damaged, things like that, they can charge up the credit card. If it's a debit card, they can only charge up to what's in the account. And so that doesn't work as well for the rental car companies. Um, I don't think you can call that one a myth. And it's very difficult to rent a car without a credit card. Um, so that one, I'd call it at least iffy. Um, when you're using a debit card, which is what we teach, you should um, always choose credit. When you swipe the debit card and it asks you, do you want to do debit or credit? You always want to choose credit because then you're protected just like a credit card. And you have zero liability, just like if you were to use a credit card. Um, so if your card gets stolen, things like that, you are still protected. So a lot of people seem to think you're not as safe if you're using a debit card. That is not true. Um, they have the same zero liability policy that any credit card does. Um, the one that he talked about here that really I want to drive the point home is the people that are saying, well, I pay off my credit card every month and I'm getting points, so I'm beating the credit card companies. That's a myth. That is, and it that's one of those myths that everyone talks about, and everyone gets all excited. Ooh, I got points for my credit card. Woo, I pay everything on a credit card because I get points. You're a moron. Um, and I've been that moron. I listened to those stupid people and I did what they did. And all of a sudden, wham bam, I find myself $10,000 in credit card debt. It was stupid. Um, and it happens very quickly and you don't you don't expect it. Um, but I was young and my wife and I had heard all the people saying, "Oh, you why write checks for everything? Pay everything on a credit card, write one check a month, and then you get all these points and it's just a great deal." It's not a great deal. Um, First of all, you're paying 12 to 18% more by swiping a credit card. He gave the statistic at McDonald's before they accepted credit cards, the average ticket price was $4.75. Then, once they started accepting credit cards, the average ticket price jumped to $7. That's almost a 50% jump. It's like 47% or 40 something percent. Um, because all people had to do was swipe now. And so when they were asked, do you want to supersize that? Do you want a pie? Whatever. Oh, yeah, yeah, I want that. Because those pain receptors are not going off. Um, when my wife and I were young, and that's the story I was telling, We were like everyone else, put everything on a credit card, write one check. And then every once in a while, uh, the credit card bill would come and it was way bigger than we expected. Um, and it would generally lead to an argument over who spent more than we should have. And then we'd look at the credit card and we'd discover, oh, yeah, there was that wedding. We stayed in a hotel. We did this. We did that. Oh, yeah. And then eventually there was a credit card bill that we could not pay the whole thing off. We had overspent that month. We didn't have a budget. We overspent using the credit card, and then we couldn't pay it all off. And then once that happened, then it happened again, and then again. And pretty soon we had $10,000 in credit card debt, and we were in big trouble. Um, the other stat that they shared, credit card customers paid $90 billion in interest and fees in 1 year. That's a lot of money, folks. Credit card companies are winning. You're not. Um, so no, you're not. You're not winning by getting points. And then you add in the fact that like the airline miles things. 75% of those airline miles don't ever get used. They have all kinds of contingencies on them, and it's a waste. Pay cash. You'll be much better off. Use a debit card. You'll be much better off. I love his analogy of that little tray at the restaurant, and when you put cash on there, it's like Uncle Ben's coffin being carried off because Uncle Ben's not coming back. I love that analogy. The other scary thing from that video is the myth that I'm going to get my teenager a credit card so that they learn how to be responsible with money. That's just stupidity. And they shared the stat that there are more young people that are filing for bankruptcy than graduating from college. That's just horrifying that there are more filing for bankruptcy than graduating from college. And then you've got the ones that are dropping out of college because they have a credit card and they've overspent and they can't afford it anymore. So now they're out of money, they drop out of college, and 6 months after they drop out, now they got to start paying their student loans back, but they don't have a degree, so they don't have a great job to pay off those student loans, and they still have the credit card debt that they ran up, and they're in big trouble. Stay away from credit cards. They will get you every time. And you're going to be, when you turn 18, the credit card offers are going to come like crazy because they know how loyal people are to their first card. Once you get that first card, people are hugely loyal to that first card. It becomes a member of the family. So they're going to try and get you hooked. They want to be your first. So just stay away. Use those debit cards and cash. Cash is king. So hope you have a great weekend and have a fantastic spring break. And I will see you after break. Remember, you are loved. So long, guys.